a few points here that I want to address. But these people who talk about their reconciliation and about moving forward, you're not speaking for us. Far from it. You never did anything for us while we were being slaughtered. You hid away in case you had to actually take a stand to the forefront. So this talk about you're meeting Sinn Féin, meet away with Sinn Féin, because you're no different than Sinn Féin. You want to appease the killers. You can never ever appease killers. Killers have to show that they are remorseful, regretful, and never again want to lift a weapon or plant a bomb in the name of United Ireland. And until we see that, and people talk about, oh, there's this one sitting talking to him, and there's that one going to talk to him. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, and let the people judge. We have spoken to our people, not all of them, because there's that many to get round, but we've taken soundings. And it may be very confrontational for us to do it. It may be go against our grain. But if people want to move on, then we'll sit down and debate with these people to see how genuine they are. And before people say, oh, you should only do this or you should only do that, we will ask a certain number of the media to be there and to judge and to put it out into the public domain and let you judge. Are we fair? Are we unjust? Let's see who is genuine about moving forward. Let's see who really wants to move on in this country. And I will put it up to Sinn Féin now. You put your murderers on one side of the table and we'll put our innocent victims on the other side of the table. And it will not be a shouting match. It will not be a confrontational. Everybody's telling us how great these people are and how much they want reconciliation. And no disrespect to you, Jackie MacDonald. Good men doing bad things does not fit the criteria of the IRA. The people who need to move on in this country are the people who carried out the acts of violence. Now, we're prepared to sit down. Let's see how many take us up on this challenge. We will sit down and we will have a reasonable debate with you. And we will ask you questions to see how you are prepared to answer. And you can ask us questions as well. Let's have this debate. But let's have it where people who are not prepared to be identified with who they are and what they were murdered for. We make no apology for our religion, our culture, or our background. And the fact that the IRA probably killed more Catholics. They certainly killed as many Catholics as anybody else. But the IRA butchered quite a few innocent Roman Catholics. And unfortunately, they have nobody with a backbone. There is a few within the SDLP who do stand up and speak reasonably for them innocent victims within the Catholic community who were murdered by the IRA. But there is ones within the SDLP who, because they come from areas like South Armagh, are either afraid or their own hands is dirty somewhere in the background, so they can't open their mouths. I would ask these other people who say they're talking for innocent victims, bring them to the hall. Bring them along and let them stand beside you and back up what you're saying. And I mean victims who have been genuinely or who have been affected directly. Not somebody hearing a bomb 10 miles away. As far as I'm concerned, they are not victims. Now, I'll go back again to this whole reconciliation issue. We heard this morning on the news about Tesco send Jubilee badges by mistake to another part of the United Kingdom. That's how safe and secure we are. They sent them by mistake to Northern Ireland and they withdrew them. The people weren't allowed to wear them because it could create offence. How could wearing a wee badge commemorating 60 years of rule by one of the nicest ladies you could ever meet, the Queen of this country, who has sacrificed her whole life to serve this country, how could wearing a badge to commemorate her service to this country be offensive? And if it is offensive, let the man tell me how he, or the woman tell me how he can justify it being offensive. The reality is that there is an appeasement process going on in this country, and until we start to get down to dealing with the reality of what actually has been going on and stop buying off these people, stop pumping millions into them and pretend that you are actually working towards reconciliation when all you are doing is paying gunmen not to pull the trigger. And we'll take no lectures from no terrorist about what we should wear, where we should go, and what we should have as a culture and a tradition. We're now putting it up to Sinn Féin IRA. You've got away too long with this, meeting these watered down. The Reverend Good, with great respect to him, this is the man, I believe, that overseen decommissioning, who told us all the weapons were decommissioned. Well, I hope when he gets his wages, or when he was getting his wages, he was better accounting than what he was when it came to handing the weapons in. Because they told us they were all decommissioned. They weren't all decommissioned. They did exactly what we said they would do. They got rid of all their dirty weapons and they kept all their clean ones. That's what was decommissioned. So no harm to Mr. Good. We'll take no lectures from you about reconciliation. You misled the people on decommissioning. You're not going to get away with misleading us when it comes to reconciliation. I don't want to be holding hands, and indeed I don't need to be holding hands with any Sinn Féin terrorist or skipping down through the garden hand in hand with them. I leave that to Jackie McDonald and other people and the Reverend Good to do. But what I do need to know, and what our people do need to know, how genuine these individuals are. We personally don't believe they are genuine. They're all working still towards the goal of a united Ireland. We are now prepared to sit down at the table and listen to the debate. Let them put their side of the story across. If they've got the backbone to face the people that they hid behind the hedges whenever they were shooting their loved ones. If you've got the backbone, we'll now sit down at the table with you. But we'll not do it behind closed doors. The one thing we won't do, it won't be behind closed doors. We will do it for the public. And let the public decide who is right and who is wrong.